Good morning, people. It is Wednesday, hump day, April 4th, and you're riding with me on my morning drive. My name is John. For the next 20 or 30 minutes, we'll be talking politics. And in this wonderful Sunday morning, sunny morning, there is much to talk about. Not a whole lot of developments in the Trayvon Martin case, which we've kind of been leading off with lately, other than George Zimmerman is still guilty and should be arrested. End of discussion. What the hell is taking so long? The stupid prosecutor down in Sanford. Idiot. Now the FBI has opened up a parallel investigation, thankfully. They're going around and talking to witnesses and doing their own investigating. Because we're tired of people, dumbasses in Sanford and whatever other special prosecutor, dipstick Rick Scott, appointed, screwing around. They're not getting nothing done. And in the meantime, no justice for Trayvon or the family. So, what's up? Come on. Get your shit together, people. Of course, yesterday was Tuesday. I did not drive yesterday morning to work. Was off, so I did not broadcast yesterday morning. Sorry about that, in case anybody tuned in. But yesterday was a primary day. The Boat Anchor Party had 3 primaries yesterday: Wisconsin, Maryland, and Washington, D.C., and the Midster swept all 3. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Of course, it's not really surprising. Some people were trying to make big drama out of Wisconsin between Santorum and Romney, but honestly, Santorum's manufacturing rhetoric I haven't heard much of it lately. And oh, good Lord, look here. Sorry, we've got a interesting truck in front of us. It says on the back of it, WDJD. What did Jesus do? Yeah, what did he do? Oh, fake ass Christians. That's probably a fake ass Christian right there. And these people piss me off with their stupid signs in the back of their fucking car. But what are you gonna do? Anyways, I didn't think there was going to be a whole lot of drama because Rick Santorum, early on in the race, he talked a good game about manufacturing and this and that. But honestly, we all know that he's not. I mean, he's not for manufacturing, really. I mean, because if you think about it, the whole Republican Party, the whole Boat Anchor Party right now, they're all about union busting. And there's nobody in their right mind that's in manufacturing, any workers anyway, that would favor union busting. So, I mean, Rick Santorum's disqualified right at the door. He don't even make it through the doorway of talking about manufacturing. So he's just kind of a joke when it comes to that. Speaking of jokes, I thought it was an April Fool's joke but then I realized they announced it on the 31st of March, so it couldn't have been. Unless they were doing kind of an April Fool's early, like they're doing now with Black Friday, where they open the night before at midnight. I thought maybe it was an early April Fool's joke that Sarah Palin would be not only on the Today Show for a lengthy interview, but would also be co-hosting this week, coincidentally, the same week that Katie Couric is co-hosting Good Morning America. I mean, are we serious here? What are they trying to draw some sort of comparison? Is there a competition? I mean, really? I mean, I don't understand what... I mean, there shouldn't be any animosity from Sarah Palin's side, simply because she's the one that was grossly unprepared and woefully incompetent in that interview. I mean, she couldn't even answer she couldn't even name off one political publication, for crying out loud. I mean, come on, lady. You were a dipstick. You were a moron. You were not prepared. You wouldn't even prep for the interview. You just went into brat mode and ignored the people that were trying to prep you because you were not getting your way, and you were a very uninformed person to begin with, so you felt overwhelmed with all the information, and you go on that interview with Katie Couric and make a complete ass out of yourself, and then blame Katie Couric, or drum up some sort of, calling it the lamestream media, and she was asking me gotcha questions. No, she wasn't. She was asking you simple questions, you Nimrod. If you weren't so stupid, you would have been able to answer some of them without making yourself look like a complete idiot. But of course, it looks to me like NBC is desperate for ratings, kind of like Sarah Palin, or as I like to call her, sociopathic Sarah, is looking for attention. Because, she's a media whore, obviously. She's always trying to get in the spotlight, and I cannot believe the people at NBC were stupid enough to let her on there. I'll never watch the Today Show again. We are officially boycotting the Today Show, so anybody listening, make sure you never watch the Today Show. I don't care what the hell's on there. You can always go to the internet after the show and play whatever clip of whoever it was you were interested in, or whatever it was you were interested in on that day's show, but do not give them the ratings. Because, seriously, what in the hell are these people thinking? Putting Sarah frickin' Palin, not ready for prime time, complete idiot, knowledge void. When she enters the room, people's IQs instantly drop by several points. She's a freaking idiot, a dummy. And the fact of the matter is she's become even more steeped in teabagger ideology and hate mongering in the last 4 years, instead of being someone that said, you know what, I was unprepared for this position in '08, and I went with it because I got caught up in the hype of everything, and the glam and the fame and the fortune and all that stuff. But I really want to serve my country at some point in the future, and so I'm going to go ahead and travel a little bit, see some places that would make me a little bit better knowledge-wise on foreign policy issues, or on geographic issues, and know places around the world, read up on political history, and really get my skill set sharpened up, and become a top-notch candidate, or at least try to improve myself for a future run, so where I'm really so if I do become, if somehow I am elected, then I will be able to offer the country something other than a bunch of hot air coming out of my pie hole. And of course, she didn't do any of that. So that's the thing that's so disgruntling about Sarah Palin, is she's just basically taking up space, waste of space, and she wants to act like she's some expert political pundit all the time, or like she's somebody that people really look to for answers, when she doesn't know any on most issues. She knows almost nothing about anything. So, that's the thing that's just so disgusting about all this, and the media gives her credence. So, I, for one, am not watching the Today Show. I will not patronize anything that's promoting Sarah Palin, because that's just a joke. Speaking of another joke, Mitt Romney, the Mittster, has been palling around with good old Paulie Ryan. And you've heard me talk about the Paul Ryan budget and its radical vision for America, and how terrible it would be if it were somehow passed. If we had a boat anchor president and a boat anchor controlled Congress, that would be a real reality. Hopefully it's just some alternate nightmare universe somewhere that we'll never have to endure. But Mitt Romney is sitting there talking about contraception, and a lady at a town hall a while back had asked him, what about, I know you're not for Planned Parenthood, but where are women supposed to go that are currently receiving free contraception via Planned Parenthood? And Mitt basically said, this is a free country, you're free to go wherever you want, but you won't be, if I'm president, you won't be going to Planned Parenthood, because I'm going to defund it. And then he proceeded to stick his foot in his mouth by saying that I'm not going to tax these people, to support someone's contraception. It's not fair. Oh yeah, but yet you'll take those people's tax dollars and spend them, and you're okay with them being spent on unnecessary wars in Iraq or unnecessary weapon systems in a bloated defense budget, or $4 billion in oil subsidies, or any number of subsidies that are not nearly as important as women's health, because contraception to many women are a health necessity, not a luxury. Come on, Mitt. What an idiot you are. You think people are that stupid? I mean, I know some are, but really? I mean, if we're going to start prioritizing where tax dollars are going, and which things hold more merit, I really don't think that contraception is going to fall underneath all those other things I was mentioning, in addition to whatever other nonsensical things we spend our tax dollars on. I mean, seriously, you guys are, just unbelievable with this stuff, how heartless these assholes are. I mean, it just blows my mind how anybody is voting for these jokers anymore. And honestly, it's starting to really show, especially when the women vote. Obama's leading by like 18 points. Nationally, I think he's leading by 20. So thankfully, women are really starting to wake up and realize, and making themselves known. And I really hope that even if these Republicans all of a sudden, just this all dies down or whatever, and the war on women stops or just fades away, that women will not forget come November, because just because they stop talking about it now, it doesn't mean anything. Come November, if they win elections, you can damn well count on the fact that they're going to renew that war on women, and by then it's too late. It's kind of like Scott Walker. He came in under false pretenses and then unleashed the beast on Wisconsin, by creating a bigger budget deficit by giving tax cuts to corporations and wealthy people, which is their mantra these days. It's all they care about. While then doing away with collective bargaining and basically telling people that they have to give more of their pay to their pensions and their health care and everything else, which amounts to in some cases it was like a 15% pay cut to a lot of labor, organized labor type people, the working class. And those are people that are making, between $30,000 and $60,000 a year. You're going to tell me that's the people that can afford a 15% pay cut? Really? No. That's why this whole Paul Ryan budget, it funnels over $3 trillion to the top income bracket. Hello? They don't need any more money. They've been getting big tax cuts for the last 10 years. And what are they doing with it? They're not really doing a whole lot with it. So that boat has sailed long ago. And that dog ain't hunting, for those in the South. I'm sorry, but this is just a joke. And yesterday, Mike Papantonio was standing in for Big Ed Schultz on the Ed show, the radio show, the Ed Schultz radio show. And his monologue was a masterpiece. That was one of the best diatribes I've heard by Pap or by anybody on the left. And Pap's one of my favorites. He's a real progressive hero. He's a trial lawyer that has really taken the right path, the path of fighting for the little guy. And so you got to give it to Pap. He could have taken the whole unscrupulous path that a lot of lawyers take, where they don't care who they hurt or what they do, they just collect a paycheck, and a big one. But he was co-hosting yesterday, and he was talking about like what I've talked about before, which is the importance of Supreme Court justice appointments, and the fact that now we are stuck with a radically political right-wing hack of a Supreme Court, where we've got a 5-4 conservative majority, where Kennedy sometimes votes on the other side, on the liberal side of the court with the four liberal judges, but that's not. I don't think that's as often as it should be. And so, what we've got to do is make sure that we reelect Obama, if for no other reason than Supreme Court justice appointments. I mean, it is so crucial. I mean, I know I've stressed the importance of congressional races, but Pap was kind of jumping. I mean, he was talking like it's now, but honestly, it's not. It's in the future. I mean, in the future, if things keep going like they're going, I mean, what we're going to end up with is a Supreme Court that, no matter what legislation passes, I mean, the frequency of these strike downs by the Supreme Court is going to increase, and we don't know yet whether or not they're going to strike down the Affordable Care Act, or as you might know it, Obamacare, which is like what the boat anchors like to call it. I like to call it Obama Cares because he does. He's the only one that does care. And if we end up with constant strike downs of legislation, I mean, you're basically going to have Congress having to say, okay, well, you know what, we got to figure out how this, not only, in addition to trying to get some sort of bipartisan compromise or get the thing passed at all, then you've got to figure out how to get it passed without raising the ire of the Supreme Court, who are ultimately going to become the highest power in the land, which they kind of already are. I mean, if they strike down the Affordable Care Act, they've already done the Citizens United thing. That's proven to be a real wonderful decision. We see how that's screwing up our elections, as if they weren't already screwed up enough to begin with, and we had that nonsense injected into the mix. Now, if they're gonna, if they strike down the Affordable Care Act, which was passed by a strong majority in Congress, and this idiot on CNN was basically, reading the President the Riot Act for calling out the Supreme Court as being judicial activists and referencing Republicans who, in years past, and George Bush himself came out and said, oh, we shouldn't have activist judges making decisions. It's like, come on, dude. I mean, you guys you can't have it both ways. I mean, this guy is basically saying that the president doesn't know anything about constitutional law. Come on, dude. He was a freaking constitutional law professor at University of Chicago. I think he knows a thing or two about the Constitution. What in the hell? I mean, people like Sarah Palin are going to say that they know more than Obama about the Constitution. That's just a fucking shortcut to thinking. Come on. You're a complete dolt, Palin. These people are dolts. I mean, they're dumbasses. They're wrong about everything. But yet they're going to tell us what's right and what's wrong in the way of things. And that's just, man, it's starting to piss me off. It's really getting on my nerves. Between that and the misinformation, And I mean, voting is not, I know I've really stressed voting, but voting isn't the only thing. And like Van Jones said, I'm going to get the Kindle edition of Rebuild the Dream, by the way, which is out. It came out yesterday. Van Jones's new book. For those of you, rebuildthedream.com is Van Jones's latest endeavor, and it's truly an amazing grassroots movement. It's what I feel is the right fit for me. They're closely partnered with MoveOn.org, which many of you probably know, which is awesome organization. If you'd like more information about that, you can always, I will have some things on my shredoftruth.com website. That's our website. And you can also email me at mymorningdrive@shredoftruth.com. Look forward to hearing from everybody. I really want to get comments and suggestions. I'd like to know what you think I should do differently, if there's something you'd like to see me do, or if you'd like me to do a call out. And, well, no, I guess I can't call out while I'm broadcasting, can I? No, I don't think I can do that. I'm not sure. I haven't tried that. I'll have to try that sometime. But regardless, I could at least, if you have a topic you'd like to discuss, I'll mention you by name, and I will discuss it. And of course, you can go to the chat. There is a chat area right there when we're broadcasting on Ustream. And Feel free to leave comments on Ustream or YouTube. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue broadcasting this live or not. I may start recording it with a better quality camera and then posting it later on YouTube simply for the quality, because I'm finding that Ustream's quality is not really top notch. For storm chasing it works pretty well, but just because you want to capture the moment, and that's fine. But for this broadcast, I'm not sure if this is really the best venue or not, but we'll see. I may keep doing it. For the time being, I'm going to keep doing it. But yeah, Obama's really opening it up. He made a speech. I'm going to put a video feed to that speech on the shredoftruth.com website to the AP yesterday, where he really called out Romney by name, basically just threw the gauntlet down on the Paul Ryan budget and attached the Republican platform for the election to that budget, which, every single one of them are lining up to suck Paul Ryan's dick anyway. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense. They're just a bunch of dumbasses. Eddie Munster, aka Paul Ryan, has got a stranglehold on part of that party, and he is a freaking wackadoo. God, that guy's terrible. But the thing about him that does make him formidable is that he is a slick fish. He does speak well, and he does know how to weave a good quilt of bullshit. So, I mean, that's going to be the only thing about him that may be a little bit tough in the election, is that if he is Romney's VP, which I think it's going to be either him or Rubio. Honestly, at this point, I don't know how it's not Paul Ryan, but who knows? I mean, strange things can happen. But I mean, man, you see those guys, they're all grins when they're together on stage, and they're handing out free subs, which the Democrats are calling foul on, and are asking for an FEC, a Federal Election Commission investigation on. I mean, they're running around Wisconsin, basically holding hands and whispering sweet nothings into each other's ears, because I've never seen anybody like that with Mitt Romney. So, I mean, Mr. Romney bot 2012, he's a little bit detached from humanity. But Paul Ryan likes him, because Paul Ryan's all about rich people. Who cares about those stupid middle classers and all that bullshit and nonsense? That's what the president's talking about, and he's a Kenyan socialist, so we don't care about what the president's talking about. He actually feels the pain and the needs of the regular people in this country, and they're just about the job creators, because that's all that matters, is job creators, which is just their word for the ultra wealthy, or the people that don't need any more money but are going to get it under the Paul Ryan plan, which is just a reverse Robin Hood deal. But anyway, all I can do is urge you once again to please do your civic duty, work for some campaigns, find some candidates that you really like, blueamerica.crooksandliars.com, or you can get on our website, shredoftruth.com. We've got, in the upper left-hand corner, there's banner ads for several Blue America candidates. Any of those candidates, or any other progressive candidates that are running for office. Help those people get elected, please, because we've got to get, it all goes, everything is equally important, and it's got to be a multi-pronged approach. We've got to re-elect Obama. Despite whatever differences you may have with Obama, he's still by far the best candidate that there is out there. Between him and Romney, it's very obvious which one you would vote for. Obama. Congress is incredibly important, probably just as important, if not more so, than the president. Because if we have, well, not more so, but just as important, because ultimately the president can veto any legislation that comes out of the Congress. So it's irrelevant. If you have a Republican president, everything's going to get vetoed. So, oh well. But we've got to get a progressive majority, a reliable Democratic majority in the Senate. That means 60 plus votes of people that are not either boat anchors or blue dog Democrats, which are as bad or worse than than boat anchors, because you expect that behavior out of a Republican. I don't expect that behavior. I don't expect that type of voting record or that type of ideology that you see from blue dog Democrats out of a Democrat. You expect that out of Republicans. You don't out of Democrats. So blue dog Democrats are as bad or worse than their boat anchor counterparts. Remember that. And we have to defeat blue dog Democrats. That includes Mary Landrieu, Tim Holden, and there's several other. I mean, Ben Nelson's retiring, so that's fine. Joe Manchin is one. Got to get the hell out in West Virginia. Get him the hell out of there. Heath Schuller's retiring, thank God. So he's another one. But keep an eye out for blue dog Democrats. If you hear that term or you hear a candidate that's called a blue dog, you need to defeat them. And then, of course, there is Supreme Court, which if we re-elect President Obama, we should see him appoint one, maybe two. Some people have even said three. I don't know where that's coming from, but one, maybe two Supreme Court justices. If we just have one conservative justice, which I think Kennedy is the one they mentioned, if we could flip that one to a liberal, if Obama makes a Sotomayor or a Kagan appointment again, another one, one like the two he's made in his term so far, then we'll be in really good shape. But if we get somebody like Romney in there who's going to want to appoint another conservative, possibly somebody who will overturn Roe v. Wade, then we could be in serious trouble. And we just can't afford that. So it's very important that we vote, that we do our part to get people elected that need to be elected. And if those people are not elected, then they're on a very short leash. We'll make sure, if they're elected but they don't serve the people that elected them, and they instead continue to serve special interests and corporations and ignore the voice of the people, then we'll kick their ass out in 2014. That's simple. And elect somebody else. But we've got to hold these people accountable somehow. Which, that includes telling them, hey, always keep in mind the people that elected you and their interests. And if corporations and lobbyists, want to come to you and throw money your way, you say, that's fine, I'll take your money. But just understand, that doesn't mean that I'm beholden to you. I'm still going to govern for the people. And if that means your interests are, then I go against your interests, then so be it. Take your money back. But I mean, we've got to have some brave politicians that, will experiment with this type of action, because, I mean, we cannot continue this unsustainable path of these politicians that just get elected and then basically ignore the people when they get in office and only listen to the corporations and the lobbyists and the special interests, because that's not how it's supposed to work. That's just not how it's supposed to work. We've got to hold people accountable. That's just the way it is. So, if we don't do that, then we're really selling ourselves short. That's the thing, is I think people lose sight of the fact that we can hold these people accountable. But it has to be a coordinated effort, kind of like the Koch brothers are coordinating the efforts against the working and middle class of this country. And by the way, I picked up a copy of Brave New Films, Robert Greenwald's Koch brothers Exposed. You can go to his website at bravenewfilms.org, and for a $20 donation, you'll get yourself a copy. I do plan to share it. I don't believe I can post the whole thing on my website, because it would be a copyright violation, and I'm sure he wants people going to his site and buying it, because I'm sure it wasn't cheap to produce. It's a very impactful and incredibly good documentary on the Koch brothers and what their reach is. So between watching that and reading Rebuild the Dream, I should be pretty fired up here pretty soon. So anyways, it is Wednesday, April 4th. I'm going to leave you now. It's been great talking with you. My name is John. You've been riding with me, talking with me on my morning drive. Have a great hump day. I'm out.